before the event. We talked about their play styles, like the objectives that they want to have, their play styles in general. So hopefully we'll get to actually see how this plays out into a really nice game based off of what they've said. And in general, both teams both seem like they have a lot of confidence, and they've mentioned that they've practiced a lot together off camera, and they've done their best. So I think this is going to be a really great game just between New Jersey versus Pennsylvania. It's going to be crazy.
Okay, and for those of you that do know League of Legends, we can talk about the draft a little bit here. So on the blue side, on the left side, we have Parkland. They have picked Warwick, Nautilus, and Caitlyn, and they're currently going into their second round of bans. It looks like they're banning out supports, and they also need to ban out a mid lane. And on NVOT side, which is the right side, we have Avaris, Amu, and Jin, and they're currently rounding out the rest of their bans. There's a lot of jungle bands in that spot. See all those jungle bands? That's a lot of jungle bands. So we have our drafts kind of filling through here, and you're going to see after the left team finishes this last ban, they're going to go, and the right team is going to finish picking out their team comp here. All of the characters that you see on the screen with those different names in the big capital letters are one of the characters in League of Legends. They are going to do different things. Some characters are really good at being really defensive and taking a lot of hits. Some of them are really, really good at doing a lot of damage. Some of them are good at supporting others. And so these different playstyles are wonderful, of course, for a high school esports team, because this gets to teach that aspect of teamwork. Not one person can carry the whole game for the entire team, unless some really bad things happen, but usually not. So usually it's a lot of teamwork involved, especially in this title. There's a lot of teamwork with the various different things that are going on. As we're rounding out our draft here, we've got Varus, Jin, Pike on NVOT on the right side. Left team here, the blue side is going to pick out their last pick for Parkland. Spicy combo. See what NVOT rounds out with. And just so I can get another show of hands here. So again, who knows about League of Legends? Just so I can see. Cool. Who's played League of Legends? Perfect. Who has an esports team at their high school? All right. Who's potentially interested in having an esports team at their high school and doesn't yet? Okay, cool. So I'm going to try to show you how this title can kind of fit in. Again, one of the things we like to mention with this title is this is the biggest esport in the world. This has a huge following internationally. We do have a competitive scene in North America. There are different competitive scenes throughout the world, and twice a year they meet up for a big international event. This is where it starts here at the high school level. From here, they get opportunities, they get scholarships to go on to the college level, and from college level, they can be recruited based on either how well they do in college or climbing the solo queue ladder, which is the version they play at home, and can get recruited by pro teams to go and compete at a professional level. In fact, the team that is on the right side, NVOT, has had a player in their past go on to get a scholarship and compete at St. Clair College. Rockboom, who is one of the best AD carries, I think, in this continent, has came from one of those teams. So there are big scholarship opportunities here, but the big thing we love to focus on, of course, is the teamwork aspect and how that works with our players. Can you guys speak on that with the teamwork and how that works with your two teams again, because coming from different places, so because you want to start first?
We're talking about each team individually, right? Okay. So for one, just in general, I believe Northern Valley, they have very strong synergy from what I've seen in previous gameplay when they went to states and when they won states. We saw them working very well together. The jungler was always on top of everything. They were constant, top was perfectly fine. They had nothing to worry about top. So they were kind of working more on towards mid and bot. They were working for objectives, and in general, they were entirely in sync, and they put the enemy team at a really big disadvantage. They had nothing to worry about. From that point, the game was over before it even started, even during picks, I believe. The top laner picked Varus, which I believe is what is going on in this game as well. He abused the enemy Skarner so hard. The Skarner couldn't do anything. The enemy team's Ramus, he could not gank at all. It was just impossible There was no chance at all, and it left them at a huge disadvantage. They know how to play with each other, and they know how to move forward. So that is what I'm thinking I'm going to see with MDOT, but I'm not going to look at Pennsylvania and think that they don't know what they're doing. They're state champs as well. I believe they have something under their little belt as well. They've got this. Both teams have got this. They're both really good teams.
I want to ask Gusky before we start here. You were also talking with MBOT before, and they've talked about like kind of what their secret sauce is, kind of to their success. And
Yeah. There's like kind of a bond between all of them. They have like a brotherhood between all of them, and you know they hang out after school. They kind of build a community through esports, and I think like even Barnegat, we have something like that. And yeah, it's just really.
All right, cool. So you guys are going to see the game pop up in about 35 seconds. Blue side has Warwick, Fiddlesticks, Azir, Caitlyn, and Nautilus. Right side, red side is Varus, Amumu, LeBlanc, Jin, and Pike. And like we mentioned before with the Varus top pick, that's one of their flex picks there. Into Warwick. It's going to be something. If it's anything like they went in New Jersey, it's going to be something ugly. Just for, I guess so all of you guys know, I believe both of these teams respectively went undefeated in each of their seasons in states. So NBOT was undefeated in New Jersey, Parkland was undefeated in Pennsylvania. These are two really good teams. They're high-ranked teams. We're going to jump into the game here in a second. We'll be kind of able to explain more of what's going on in the game itself. As soon as we get it to load up here, just so we can take a look again here. Gusky, what would you say kind of is the goal of Parkland's team on the left, on the blue side? What do you think blue side's team comp is about here?
Well, I see a lot of split push potential with you know, the Caitlyn range and the Azir, you know, just in general. There's a lot of that, but with NVOT, there's more team fight base. Like you have the Amumu, you have the yeah, there's two contrasting play styles, so it's going to be a very interesting game to watch. Do you have anything out
Right now, they're kind of 5-stacking the river area. I believe what they're doing is they're going to be going in for an invade, which means that they're going towards the enemy team's jungle and attempts to steal their buff.
All right. So we see that there was originally just a defend there. Looks like they were trying to defend against an invade on the red side there. Meanwhile, blue side sort of just did a 5-point. Looks like a 5-point to go into the respective lanes here. Just also some background info. It looks like MBOT is on very, very comfortable picks. These are very much almost the exact same picks that we saw from them in the fall. Just right down the line, we see a lot of these very, very familiar picks here, and I'm sure the same thing here for Parkland as well. They're getting their jungler, very, very talented jungler, on carry picks here, so that way they can try to make some big picking potential in the game here, especially with Fiddlesticks taking Dark Harvest, trying to be able to scale a little later. Let's take a look here at the map. So as you guys can see, there's 3 lanes, right? We have the one on two on the outside, there's one at the bottom, one at the top. And that middle lane there, the shortest one in the middle. And you're going to see some of the characters are in between the lanes trying to take some of those other resources there. Again, think about it as chess. Each of the players are operating a chess piece. And the thing that's unique about it is these chess pieces can get stronger in the game. So at the beginning, they start very weak. They can only do so many things. But as the game progresses, they're going to start doing stronger and stronger things based off of the items they can get. We see engage here. Level 1, level 2, going in from NBOT here, trying to go for a pick onto Parkland. Meanwhile, there's another fight in the top lane, the Varus versus the Warwick matchup. It's going to be close. It's a flash here with the Warwick, and it's going to be close. He's trying to get for the on hit here. Is he going to have enough mana to pop it? And there's first blood for the Varus. Like we mentioned, it's going to be a little bit spicy in the bot lane with that range versus melee matchup. We see another engage here, level 3 from LeBlanc, looking in onto the Azir. Just needed a quick electric peak proc off.
Let's go.
And we see a nice little first blood there for NBOT to start off.
Yeah. I think what's good about NBOT's comp is they were kind of ahead of their time. When you look at the LeBlanc and the rest of their team, A lot of the stuff that they picked earlier is now like really meta now. It's like even getting nerfed on the next, update. So.
One thing that I definitely noticed about the bot lane right now is NBOT is definitely very pushed up, which could give Penn a good advantage towards ganks due to being so far pushed up. But it seems they're trying to limit this a little bit, and then you get the engage by Nautilus.
See, it looks like it's going to gank from blue side and Parkland. Dragon Camera's trolling us a little bit. Let's see if there's going to be a kill. There is a kill mid lane. Azir onto the LeBlanc there, making it 1-for-1. There's another hook. The hook lands, and they get the kill there. Very nice from Generic there on Nautilus. Landing that last second pipe right before the pipe got under the tower to see if they were going to maybe look for a dodge there. Very, very close. 2-1 lead there for Parkland over NBOT. They currently have a 100 gold lead there across the board. These are really, really interesting comps. I love that we were talking about the comps here before. The way the characters work here, they each, like you said before, they do different things. And we can see that some of the champs here are in what we would call maybe untraditional roles, specifically with maybe Varus, the purple character in the top right corner going against the top left corner character there. It's a little bit of an unconventional matchup, but kind of the cool thing about what we do in high school esports is that the meta is very different than the meta you might see in pro play. And so there are certain things we can get away with in high school that we can't maybe get away with in pro play. So very, very close here so far. Very explosive game, I would say, pretty early, right?
Yeah.
At this point, I think MBOT definitely did learn their lessons, not overextend, and I think everyone right now is watching out now. I think possibly they were definitely excited before this. I think they're getting into their phase where they're like, we need to be careful about what we do. We can't underestimate them, and that's with Penn too. They're definitely like they're a kill ahead right now. It's only 2-1 right now, but even so, you see the gank coming from Penn up in mid lane. Right now, it's a really hard spot for Azir right now. There's not much he can do right now.
Very nice. There's a little kill from a roam from NBOC's support going to the mid lane. And I think it's maybe with this time here we can talk about the different students that we have on stage here. On NBOT side, we have an entire four out of the 5 players are going to be going off to college next year. We have colleges like Boston University, Rutgers, Ramapo, Syracuse, and we have on Parkland side we have one person that's going off to college, which means the rest of them are still in high school, which is really, really crazy to think about. These are not students that like you think of video games and you think of them in, your parents' basement just doing that constantly. These are really academically strong students that are also very talented in other things. And it's awesome that, especially for students like this, where we get to show off the different aspects and they get to represent their school in a way that maybe they couldn't before. I know I'm talking over this team fight. And it looks like that was a 1-for-1. The Caitlyn gets the kill on the Mumu, and the Nautilus goes down, the Mumu goes down, the Caitlyn got the kill there. So it turns out really good for the Caitlyn then to start generating some gold. We see another trade there in the mid lane, and we see top lane getting pushed in. Oh, so I would not want to be that Warwick right now. Yeah. There's another kill for Space Worm there in the top lane, 2-0 for him. If you're brand new to the game, the easiest way to follow this is you can see those big numbers at the top. There's a 3 and a 4. Those are generally just following your kills. And so, generally speaking, kills will lead into certain things that will let you get closer to that nexus, which we've talked about is like kind of our checkmate, our objective to win the game. And so, it's not necessarily always an indicator of who's in the lead. There's a lot of factors involved with the different characters, but generally speaking, as a casual observer, you can use those numbers at the top there to kind of give you an idea. 3 to 4 in kills. Again, the 3 on the blue side is Parkland, the 4 is NBOT. You can see NBOT has a little bit short of 2K gold lead up there. We see just a gigantic CS gap in the top lane as well, 66 and 35. That top lane is just, again, just not a fun place to be when you're range versus melee there. We see so far there haven't been any dragons taken, no rift heralds yet. We're just setting up currently, trying to see if there's any objectives they might go for with the
Mike, are we winning?
Going on here. Who would you guys give the late game to? If you were to scale to like 30 minutes, who do you think we're going to give it to?
Personally, I think they both have very good team fight potential between Jin's ult, Pike's hooks, and Amu's ult in between his hooks as well. But also, I want to also not completely discredit Pen because Nautilus has a really good ult that he could if he knocks out Jin or Varus, it could be a really big thing, maybe especially Varus, because right now he's 2-0, he's doing really well. Warwick is being forced to hide under tower, he even got killed under tower, so it's a really hard situation, but both teams have a very good team fight potential, even between Azir.
Yeah, we see.
There's also like
there in the top.
there's a lot of pick potential too. When you look at the stuns and the movements that Parkland has, you know, it's a lot of just stuns and they can really lock people into place. But the good thing about the DOT is you're seeing the LeBlanc right now of Big Pop Show 8. Right now, it's a very good champion to play. She has a special build that she's building and it's really benefiting her, and you can clearly tell that's what he's doing.
So we're kind of talking over a team fight there, but you can see it's 6-7 now in kills. So if you're following along, NVOT has 7, Parkland has 6. I think that was actually really, really good for Parkland, specifically their jungle fiddlesticks there. If you look on the left side, the second one down is their jungler, the one that farms in between all of the lanes there. Him getting a lot of kills there is really important for Parkland's late game, being able to stack his Dark Harvest early and become that just team fight absolute menace later. I agree, NVOT's team is much more of an early game comp. I think when I was running the statistics earlier this year in the fall, NVOT, I don't think ever had a game longer than 28 minutes, so they like to finish out really, really quick. They look for a lot of picks, so they can just really, really snowball the top, or just the snowball and just get going here. Interestingly enough though, no dragons have been taken here at 10 minutes. Dragon's one of those, what we call a neutral objective. They give it like a chess piece that either team can grab and gain power from. There's a rule in League of Legends, if you grab 4 dragons on your team, you manage to get this really, really powerful buff. And usually teams like to try to stack that early, especially for a team like NVOT, as we see another pick there from Big Poppy on the LeBlanc getting onto the Azir here. We see another fight breaking out the top lane. Varus has to go with both summoners there to try to live. I think that Warwick versus Varus matchup is really interesting. What do you think favors the Warwick in the matchup for the top lane? What is maybe something that the Warwick can do to get away with this really unfair matchup?
Go or well, I think his healing is a big part of it, so he's going to be able to stay in those team fights longer and do a lot of that, and it's really going to benefit their team because then you get all of this DPS coming in from the Azir or the Fiddle or the Caitlyn. There's just a lot of opportunities for them to really pick them apart.
I definitely think so. It was first pick Warwick top. And I feel like they were a little scared of the fact, I believe NVOT's jungler also plays Warwick, so I think they were a little scared that they might have picked it beforehand, so they first pick, but that left them at a really big disadvantage, especially because it's Warwick top. Because of that, NVOT was able to counter pick, and now with Varus, he could kite like crazy. He's just testing his limits right now.
It's also good for NVOT because they know Warwick. You know, they obviously play him, so first picking it doesn't really help their case. And yeah, another kill for NVOT.
All right, so let's see here. We're at 12 minutes in the game. It's 6-9 in kills. NVOT has 9. Parkland has 6 kills. Currently looking at a 5k gold lead, but Parkland is going to grab the first dragon for themselves. We saw a little bit earlier that NVOT managed to go and get Rift Herald in the top lane. Rift Herald is another neutral objective which either team can take. It's really good at taking down towers. Towers are those big structures. You see those big structures standing up in the lane there. They do a lot of damage to our players on stage, and they need to take down those towers in order to get to the Nexus, in order to checkmate their base there. So having something that can take down those towers really quickly is something that they want to get. There's only 2 of them that they can get before 20 minutes, and so they just grabbed the first one. And we see the first dragon being grabbed by Parkland as well. We mentioned the gold lead here because that gold lead is what's really going to kind of show you who has really the power when they ultimately go and team fight for kind of the conclusion of the game here. So if you can see next to the 6, there is a 19.5K, and next to the 9, there's a 24.5K. You also want to have the most gold there as well. So NBOT currently winning in kills and in gold, but they do not have the dragon stacking potential that they're going to be looking for. We see gold in here by Warwick, followed by the Fiddlesticks. They're going to take down the Varus again, a shutdown on the Fiddlesticks. Really, really good for that Fiddlesticks to grab that shutdown gold and hopefully be able to kind of scale up there. We see the Fiddlesticks also has a dark seal in their inventory as well. That might become a mid-ice later to see if that becomes a...
And again, that CC that I was talking about earlier, those stuns, they were able to lock up the Varus and make him not able to do what he normally would, which is just fight back and attack them from the range. And all this stuff.
NBOT
And wow, a 3-man knockup, but it doesn't...
Because of the glacial augment there on Nautilus, trying to negate most of that damage. Wow, really good shuffle there from the Azir, trying to take out the chips there. That looks like it's a 1-for-1 so far. Going still on the LeBlanc. They're switching spots there with the Pipe. Really good stun for the double kill onto the LeBlanc. Very nice for NBOT there. That Pipe player is just out of his mind. I don't know if we saw earlier, but I think he stopped the Nautilus ult and he stopped the Fiddlesticks hold with one of his E's earlier in the fight that we were talking about before. He stopped Fiddlesticks before he could go into the bot lane, so that was a really good fight there. Fiddlesticks really trying to carry there, but the Pike is just also doing a lot of work there as well. We see now that it's 14 and a half minutes in. This is kind of a big point in the game. This is where those towers that you see in front of the Nexus, all those towers there, are going to start losing tower plating, which means that they're a lot easier to take. So it's a lot easier for our players here to try to run down the lane and make sure that they can try to get to that Nexus first. So you're going to see that the top lane of your Space One for NBOT is going to start whittling down this Warwick and trying to take his tower while denying as much CS as possible. Remember, those little minions there are going to also help them get a lot of gold so that way they can get items, so that they can become stronger and try to win the game that way.
That Varus is completely bullying Warwick. He has more than double the Warwick CS. It's like as you mentioned, he's completely denying him of everything. He basically almost has a turret, even before the turret came down, like the turret plating. So in general, Varus has just the complete upper hand, but I believe it was the Fiddlesticks did get the shutdown on the Varus, and I believe the Fiddlesticks is actually their star player. I believe he's Diamond 1.
And we see another kill there. Very nice hero setup for Santic there on the Amumu, setting up for another kill. It looks like they might try to look into an objective take here for NBOT, otherwise they're going to run top lane. It was funny, while we were in the middle of that, we saw another engage with the Warwick and Fiddlesticks ult for the top lane. They've been using that combo quite a few times now. It looks like they're trying to set up things for the Fiddlesticks to ult, which is really, really good that the Fiddlesticks is 4-0-3 for Parkland. Having your carry get a lot of gold this early and really get accelerated is going to be it's going to look really, really good for them when they get to the team fights.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the Varus, right? He's going to push in a lot of waves and he's going to be really overextended. And then that's where the Fiddlesticks, he's always going up there just to, he knows already what the Varus is thinking. And it's really starting to pay off for him.
All right, 16 and a half minutes, 9 to 12 in kills, 32K gold for NBOT to 25K. We see that they have now split off and gone into side lanes. We have our mid laner now bot lane. Sometimes we can move our characters around to different parts of the map and try to gain advantages in different places. Right now, obviously that mid lane, that one that runs right down the middle, if you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, that's our mini map, so you can kind of see the whole map in a different spot there. But that's our shortest lane, so they're going to try to go down that little white box at the bottom right. Make objectives happen, but we're kind of seeing some rotations right now. It looks like they're trying to set up something top lane for this Warwick, but he's getting pinged off. He's got a good idea that something is going to come up here. Really tactical by Space One there to make sure that he leaves that tower with just a little bit of health, so he can try to deny that Warwick more CS and set up a play there. It looks like they might try to set up a play, but the Warwick was on top of it with vision somewhere. It looks like instead they're going to trade off. You get the Rift Herald there and eventually take that top tower. So now we have a Rift Herald on NBOT. And just taking a look down at their players here, we see the LeBlanc is 6-1. That's really, really fed. 144 CS and 114. We see junglers are pretty much tied in CS. We almost have a Flamerizer in the top lane, which is absolutely incredible. And we see just the kill lead. We have to just see if that kill lead is really going to carry them over this Fiddlesticks, trying to go for the late game here. As we see MBOT trying to collect the dragon, another one of the dragons, the neutral objective there in the jungle.
At first, there was a contest for Drake. Ken definitely had probably more of an upper hand due to MBOT being on the Rift Herald, but they backed out last minute, and MBOT was able to clutch the Rift. They were able to clutch the Drake.
See, barely Nautilus getting away right there. Just barely averting death. It was really, really, really close. We see now that after 2 dragons are taken, so 2 of those neutral objectives are taken, the map starts to shift a little bit. We're going to start seeing some different things happening on the map. In terms of the terrain is going to change a little bit. The bonuses that the teams get from now on from these dragons are going to change a little bit. If they manage to get 4 dragons, they're going to start to do some real funny things, especially with these team comps. I think Warwick getting the Captain Soul is going to be a little spicy. Yeah. Same thing with Fiddlesticks as well, actually. That's going to be a lot of healing. Let's see here. So 19 minutes, 9 to 12. We're just kind of waiting for something to break out here. We're going to see if any picks happen. Looks like we've got midway and even, and we've got Azir answering in the bot lane, as well as the bot lanes are up the top lane.
And the gold is getting funneled into LeBlanc and Pike, and as someone who played against NBT, I know they really take advantage of the little things, and you know, having the gold lead on those 2, especially, they have a lot of map awareness and map presence.
See a big engage here off of
right now.
Off of the Barisol, but Warwick manages to use his ultimate ability to get out. We're going to see, the ghost pop by Space Worm to use the skill force to go in for the kill there. Very clean kill there from the top lane of the Space Worm trying to set up that kill. We're going to see what that leads into. If anything, it looks like Baron has just spawned. So Baron Nashor is one of these big objectives that really, really helps finish the game. I think the statistics in solo queue are big. If you take Baron Nashor, it's like a 90% win rate, something like that. And so we're going to see at 20 minutes that Baron is going to spawn. And as you can see, right on the money, NBOT went to go and set up a pick for the top lane to see if they can take this Baron up here. It looks like they're going to start it right now. We're going to see if they can go and take this objective down. The blue team, Parkland, is going to try to contest and see if they can break out in a big team fight. There's a big ultimate by the Amumu. He's trying to catch everybody here. He's got the Fiddlesticks undercut, and it's the Jin'll. They take out the Fiddlesticks. That's a lot of their damage. We're going to see if they can continue. The LeBlanc goes forward, trying to go into the Nautilus. There's a teleport from Azir as well going in, and they back off. That's all they need to go and set up that Baron play. We're going to see if Space Worm can get out alive. He's on very, very low health. Azir is moving out to get the trade kill there. As Azir goes in and does a shuffle onto everybody. The Pike is going to start getting resets. Pike gets funneled there. He's looking to try to see if he can get his health up. He gets ulted by the Caitlyn and gets taken out. Now the Caitlyn is alive by herself, and they're going to try to see if they can get any top catch out there. They get trapped by the Caitlyn trap, but it doesn't do them any good. We're going to see if they can get a Baron off of that ace for NBOT. 18 to 11. 8 kills.
That's that big team fight aspect from earlier. Those big players like Santic with the Amumu, a lot of stay where you are, supply carries type mentality from him.
We're going to see if NBOT can actually take this down. They're very personal. Looks like they get it. They're all good.
Ken had a very good team fight, but it wasn't enough. NBOT fought it better, and they were able to take it down, and because of that, they got a free Baron. Because NBOT, they know how to use an advantage and completely use it to demolish the enemy. So I do believe Ken can make a comeback from this, but it's going to be very, very hard based off of how NBOT is playing at the moment.
There's a very large gold lead too.
There is a large gold lead. We've hit 10K gold lead here now. And so now we can see here, we can see our CS leads here in the bottom portion. That little scoreboard down there kind of tells you what their items are. So we talked about those chess pieces before, how they power up. We use those little items down there mean different things for each of those characters, and it makes them more powerful. And as they get more powerful, they can go in team fight, they can fight against each other, and it makes them give a better chance of winning. But like we talked about before, that getting that Baron Asher was really important to see if they can maybe get some more picks off and try to take down more of these towers here to get to that Nexus and win from that way. 18 to 11, 8 kills, almost 23 minutes in. NBOT is getting very close to their average time of 28 minutes of closing the game out. But do not rule out this Parkland team, as Fiddlesticks has now finished 2 of his items and is still stacking that Dark Seal. We're gonna have to see here if we can, who's gonna contest this Dragon. This can be a very important fight, a very good angle for the Fiddlesticks and for this team fight comp for Parkland. We're gonna have to see if NBOT can set up a pick here before they take it, or if they're just gonna take it on its own without any contest.
I think it's better that they force a team fight here because, again, you know, just they don't really need the picks available. All they really need to do is just force them into one spot and just contain them and make them very vulnerable. So.
All right, so it's really, this is so much fun watching these guys play. I mean, this is the New Jersey State Champions versus the Pennsylvania State Champions. We don't get an opportunity very often to see this, so I'm really excited just watching this. For those of you that have league experience, to give you an idea of, well, let's see if Varus gets the kill here first. Oh, Warwick's going to turn it around though with the ultimate, heal himself back up. Varus really has to work hard here to try to get more stacks up here, but the pipe's going to roam, he's going to hit the Q, and then the ultimate, he doesn't need it, and he got the kill anyway. Just to give you guys some idea, if you have league experience, the players that you see on stage range anywhere from low silver or gold up to, I believe, peak masters. So we have a few diamond players that are on stage, but we also have a lot of players that are in gold and silver and platinum as well that compete on the same team. I just missed a kill.
Yeah, and when you're in that like peak rank of masters, you know, you're looking at like there's a collegiate experience for you.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So like we were mentioning before with some of these scholarship aspects, a lot of these collegiate teams are looking for Diamond Master Plus players, which you see in our state leagues. You can see that in esports with a lot of hard work, with a lot of practice, a lot of studying. You can get to this higher rank and earn scholarship to be able to play at the higher level. We see here the fight is breaking out in Parkland's base. They're trying to get get more picks off here, but they're still alive with that tower up. They go and make a lot of picks here. That is a, what is that, 3 for 1? 3 for 1.
Well, they could look for an in there.
It's like they were looking for the inhibitor.
Option, yeah.
So that inhib going down is one of the key aspects they need to go and take that Nexus that's in that bottom corner. That's going to spawn some stronger minions. That's going to make it easier for them to get into the base and take that blue glowing crystal in the bottom. That is, again, their checkmate point. That's what they need to get to. So all these chess pieces are kind of leveling up here. They're getting stronger. They're buying more items. So when they go to team fight, they can go and try to kill them and then go through and take their base and take the big glowing crystal in the bottom corner.
Pen is definitely in a really bad situation right now. If you compare everything between the kills to the gold to the turrets, right now the turrets are 6-1. You know, it's going to be really hard to make a comeback off of this. Of course, it's possible. Anything is possible in a game like League, but it's going to be ridiculously hard. They really need to win these team fights, these upcoming team fights. They need to really fight for these objectives. They need to contest. They have to in order to pick themselves back up.
Yeah, and objective bounties are up for them, and they've been up for a while. And objective bounties give you the opportunity to come back in games like this, where they give you extra gold and extra incentive to take those objectives, like the Baron and like the Dragon, and even turrets.
And if you guys are ever getting confused as to why the players on stage might be yelling at something, well, there's nothing really going on. Well, there's something going on now. They got another kill at the space one there. If you ever see that, that's that 3 minute delay we were talking about at the beginning. So they're playing 3 minutes in the future of what we see. So if you ever see that discrepancy, that's kind of why that's happening. But yeah, so there's another kill. There's 12 to 24, 8 kills. Parkland to NBOT. Like we were mentioning before, it's now 7 to 1 in tower, so making it very, very, very difficult there. We're gonna have to reconnect the game there. Oh, is it? Wait, it's in the bottom. It's down here.
There it is. You didn't see anything.
Get your boy, Sellers. Get your boy, Sellers.
What?
So get your boy.
Okay. That's part of that delay. That's fine. Okay, so we see again 12 to 24 here. We're going to see that the red team is setting up vision on the top side here, the top river, looking for that Baron on spawn. So as the Baron spawns, we're going to go and take it down. We see that Parkland, unfortunately, they have to take care of their base first because they took all those hits early. They have to go and take care of that. So NBOT is going to run in there and get Baron and look to see if they can push to end here. We see quite a big roll lead here, as well as in the towers, and we see that Parkland is trying to just make sure that they can keep their base alive right now. Really trying to make sure that they can keep that Nexus in the bottom left corner alive. That is their biggest win.
Pen they can't do much. What they were trying to do was trying to focus on defending base right there, which gave NBOT the advantage to be able to, or I believe it was force that for Baron, and they have Baron now. So them resetting or pushing mid, whatever, they have, again, a really big advantage. They know how to use it. They have the Baron buff. They just need to push. They need to win their team fights, and it could be an easy game over for them.
Yeah. And I think another important thing are item spikes. So a lot of these NBOT players now have a lot of items, and since they have this like gold advantage, they just have a gold advantage, and it's really going to start showing these team fights, which offshoot Parkland is trying to stray away from. It's going to be, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. We can even just see it in the 80 carry difference down there. If we look score down, we see that Jin has 3 items compared to the 2 items. The Caitlyn going with the mid lane. Is that a static shift with long? I thought I'll talk about that. I think I read that yet. Let's see. He's getting another kill. There's a really good ult from the Azir, but they're kiting back to try to get to the back line there, and they're still alive. He is still trying to look, and now he's setting up for his ultimate to try to wow the damage on that. What a fight for NBOT. They get an ace, and they're looking to probably push to end here with their Baron buff. They're going to escort these minions in so they can buff them up and then take the towers down. See if they can run down the inhibs before that before Parkland spawns. As you can see, we have a long there in the bottom lane, just trying to escort all the minions in. And it looks like there's the blue crystal in the bottom. They're going to take these last 2 towers, and they're going to look to try to take that Nexus right there. Last ditch effort.
Bring everything you could.
Yes,
it's not enough.
And GG, the winner goes to NBOT. Congratulations to them.
At that point, during the ends, NBOT had 4 bounties right there, and you know, Penn was really struggling to pick themselves back up. It was a really hard fight for them, but just in general, I believe they played very well early. They just fell off a little bit more late, and they had so much potential, and I believe they did great for what they were trying to do. But NBOT, I think they just might have, in general, had a little bit better synergy and able to push forward and be able to completely knock it out of the room. You know?
Yeah, and it's also just a matter of the counts. As we talked about in the early games, some of them counter each other. So obviously have this team fighting comp, you know, contrast from yeah, it led to a big lead.
We want to thank our casters for helping us follow that whole match. Team of Big Man. And I think this is the very first iste Live Esports Championship trophy. And today we are proud to present our trophy to our representatives from Garden State Esports.
Jersey!
Northern Valley Old Tappan School. Let's give it up for you guys.
These congratulations. Will you walk up to the stage so we can get that photo op for you?
Thank you so much, teams. If you want to take a seat, we're going to have a couple words of wrap up.